If your home is filled with things that you're having a difficult time making decisions about, going through this checklist of 9 questions could lead to a lot less clutter. As we enter the cooler months of the year here in the Northern Hemisphere, many of us will find ourselves indoors surrounded by a whole lot of stuff that we plan to go through. It can be really overwhelming not knowing where to begin. Or perhaps you started the process of decluttering and are seeing some success, but have hit a bit of a roadblock with a series of items that are not clear clutter or keepsakes. Whichever camp that you find yourself in at this moment, I have something that I think can help. It's a series of 9 questions that you can ask of each individual item, giving you a little bit of a different perspective on things, maybe allowing you to look at the item in a more objective or logical way. The key is to ask each question one at a time and to answer them honestly. Question number 1, do I use this item on a regular basis? Notice that this question was not, do I need this? Very few items in a home are actual necessities. Our ancestors, they got by without them for hundreds of years. Washing machines, sectional sofas, throw pillows, none are needed per se. But some things we have gotten so accustomed to that we can't imagine our lives without them. This question comes with a bit of a personal value in that you have to define what regular basis means to you. If you use it daily or weekly, I think most people would agree that is often enough to answer yes to this question. How about once a month or once a year? I suppose in some regards it depends on what type of item it is, what category it fits into. For example, if you have a pair of shoes that you wear once every couple of years, maybe don't count that as being used regularly. But a Christmas tree that is on display for one of every 12 months, that might qualify as often enough for something so specifically seasonal. What about those sentimental items that you never use? Well, I suppose technically the answer to this particular question should be no. It isn't being used. But don't worry, that doesn't mean that you need to toss it. There are plenty of other reasons you might keep something that's not necessarily useful. Remember that you should plan to ask all 9 questions for each item. Question number 2, does this thing have a place to belong in my home? We all have them, the nomadic items that take up space in one room for a little while and then another room for a time. When you need to find it, you have to search all over because, well, it could be anywhere. An honest yes to this question should only happen if you can identify exactly where this item is off the top of your head right in this moment. If you determine that the item in question does not have a specific resting spot, keep in mind that doesn't necessarily disqualify it from being kept. Perhaps you will have solid yes answers to every other question on this checklist, indicating that the item is worth keeping around and something that you should make a proper place for. Question 3 is, would I buy this item again if it was lost or damaged? For this question, you'll need to go a little more introspective. Imagine if something were to happen to the item. How would you feel? Surprisingly, that feeling might be relief, a happiness that it's gone, or maybe annoyance at needing to replace it. Or it might be a legitimate sadness that you would feel. The thing is, just because we have had something for a really long time, it doesn't always mean that it would be our first choice if we were starting over again. With minimalism, the ultimate goal is to pare down, to clear out the excess, and make space for the things that really matter. If you wouldn't want to buy it again, it probably doesn't mean all that much to you in the first place. An alternate way of thinking through this question is imagining having to pack everything up for a move. Would it be worth the hassle, time, and energy, and possibly money to transport the said item to a new location? In a lot of ways, striving to establish a clutter-free home is like creating a fresh start. If you don't want the item to be part of the next chapter, then checking the no box to this question is the logical thing to do. Question 4, can this be used in multiple ways? Single-use items might have a place in your home, but in my mind, they are less valuable than something that is more multi-purpose. To be clear, I'm not suggesting that our items need to be of Swiss Army knife caliber to make the cut. Even something as simple as the dining table serving as a place for family meals and a homework spot or a place to pay bills and balance the budget would qualify. Or a couch that doubles as a guest bed. A concept that is very popular in minimalism is the capsule wardrobe, and it plays on the idea of the multi-use item in a very strategic way. Each piece of clothing is curated to be part of multiple outfits and looks, layers that can be dressed up or down according to the situation. A pair of shoes that can only be worn with one very specific dress probably wouldn't make the cut. Another example of a multi-use item is a mixing bowl, which can become a serving bowl or the base for a DIY cake stand. So think carefully about this question before answering yes or no. You may discover more uses than you had initially realized. Question 5. Do I own something similar? You might be amazed to discover the sheer amount of duplicates you have in your home once you really start looking. Having a few of some items can make sense. I personally wouldn't want just one cooking pot. It wouldn't be practical for my family since we routinely use more than one pot while preparing our meals. But other things, the ones that are used sparingly, don't necessarily need a backup. For example, I don't need 2 laptop computers to get my work done. It's important to note that minimalism is never a numbers game. There are no rules about how many of any particular item that you should own. So the heart of this question is not to reduce based on quantity alone, it's more about taking a moment to reflect on how often each thing is called to service. If you have 6 cake pans but find yourself always grabbing for your favorite one, what does that say about the rest of them? Question 6, is this item deserving of space in my home? Personal opinion will play a key role when answering this question. Ironically, various members of your family may have different things to say about the same thing. What you value about an object may be the very thing that your spouse dislikes. From the smallest knickknack to the very largest piece of furniture, everything that we own takes up space. It might not seem like a very big deal to keep one photo to remember an event. But 300 pictures from that same event, whether organized in albums or boxes, will take up a lot more space. The little things can easily combine to something much larger. We tend to not think too much about items that are kept in storage, yet many times a lot of space can be occupied for that function. I did an entire video recently about the different types of storage clutter. It might be helpful to watch that video to determine the reasons why you've held on to these things for so long. As crazy as it seems, we sometimes store items because of guilt or for negative reasons. I would argue that these types of objects don't deserve to take up space in the home, the same way that they don't deserve to take up mental space. Ultimately, you are the curator of your home, and as with any curated space, it is allowed and even expected to change over time. If you find that a once cherished item is no longer meeting your expectations, it's okay to eliminate it. Question 7. Will this item stand the test of time? This question speaks to the quality of an item. If it's made of cheap materials, the answer is probably no. It doesn't stand a chance of being an heirloom that gets passed down to future generations. My husband always likes to make the comparison between a piece of handcrafted solid wood furniture and the pressboard variety that we can put together with a series of mini screws in about an hour. One is clearly superior quality-wise. I think that most people who aim to simplify their lives would agree that making purchases based on quality over quantity is important. Investing in pieces that won't be immediately destined for the garbage is a smart thing to do. If you're evaluating an item and answer no to this question, but yes to quite a few others, that indicates that you do want to have something like it in your home. And that might be a good opportunity to look towards substitutions. Make a mental note that once the item breaks or is no longer working correctly, you do plan to replace it with something that is similar but will stand the test of time. Question 8. Will keeping this make my life easier or more enjoyable? As I mentioned in the very first question, very few things in our homes are actual necessities, but there are plenty of items that make day-to-day tasks more efficient or the use of our spaces more comfortable. We don't need a bed, but sleeping on one feels a whole lot better than sleeping on the floor. We don't need decorations, but they can brighten our moods or inspire us with their beauty. It's tempting to think that everything in a modern home is useful in one way or another, but stopping to ask this question might actually prove otherwise. Sometimes, probably more often than we think, life might be easier if an item were to be removed. Consider a television or other personal electronic device. If you find yourself constantly tempted by them and that is hindering your ability to do other necessary daily activities, it might actually be of benefit to eliminate the temptation altogether. Another, maybe less dramatic example would be those super frustrating or annoying objects we come in contact with often. Things that don't work the way that we expect them to. A pan that always gets food stuck to it and is nearly impossible to clean, or the coat that has a zipper that is constantly getting stuck or off track. The pan or the coat might still be useful, but man, life would be a whole lot easier if they just did what they're supposed to do without the extra effort. Think carefully about your answers to this question. And finally, question 9. Does it spark joy? If you've been around minimalist content for any amount of time, chances are you know the roots of this question. They were spoken by Marie Kondo herself, a very popular, organized person who, ironically enough, is not a minimalist herself. Simply put, you're asking if the item makes you happy, if it gives you a sense of peace in some way or another. If you look at an item, hold it up, examine it. For this question, if it isn't a clear yes, then it's a no. Marie would argue that every item in a home should give that joyful feeling. I'm not so convinced of that myself. I think that there can be a mix of very utilitarian items and items that are more special. And because I tend to be a more logical thinker, I personally would struggle with only asking this one question. But I put it on my list because I do believe that most people have at least some items in their home that are there for no other reason than that they like having them around. And I think that's absolutely okay. So that rounds out all of the questions that I suggest you ask for every item that you're struggling with if you want to keep a clutter-free home. Now it's up to you to decide how to use this checklist. If you put an item up against all 9 questions and marked no to each and every one, that is a pretty clear indication that it's time to let it go. But if you answered yes to all 9, then it's a guaranteed keeper. Those things that get mixed reviews, that's where it might be a little bit more tricky. Maybe you will set the rule that any item with 4+ yeses will get to stick around for a little while longer in your home, or maybe you'll be even more strict and require 7+ yes answers. Of course, you don't need to justify keeping anything to anyone but yourself, and so maybe this little questionnaire will serve as the way that you can justify to yourself if something stays or goes. If nothing else, it should give you plenty to think about. Which question do you think will be the most difficult to answer, or are there any other questions that you plan to ask of your individual items? Leave me a comment down below because I would love to hear. As always, thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope that you'll stop back again really soon.